of me dying. The world will know what you have done, and nothing is going to prevent that. It will happen, the world will hear it, and it's only a matter of time. And by the way, to all of you people in Austin, I cannot wait for you to understand how much you enabled a horrible, horrible fucking human being. Thanks for watching.
That was something else. That was Tectone getting swatted. Terrible thing to do to someone, a terrible thing to have happen to you, and it's unfortunately one of the things you gotta live in fear of in this day and age. I really hope that they eventually bring about laws that prescribe harsher penalties to people who do this, because it's not just a prank, it's attempting to harm someone through indirect means. Alright. We are going to now see Sensitive Society get fucked Hassan.
This is your shot to lock in premium solar systems and battery backups under today's incentives before they change.
I've been busy all day. I haven't opened Instagram or Twitter. I guess it's time to check out Twitter for the first time all day. All right, let's see. And okay, all right, Tectone, you are getting reported, and I'm gonna call the police on you for cursing me with this Hassan.
Oh my god. Oh god, Hassan, you take some of the cringest photos.
Piker half naked picture that I'm seeing. My eyes are burning. I literally wish Itachi was reaching into my eyes right now and removing them. What is going on, guys?
But you can't bleach your mind's eye.
Welcome back to a brand new video. Missed you. Hope everyone's having a great, fantastic day. Very briefly, before we get into this video, so on my last video, I asked you guys if you guys would like
iDubbbz, another fucking cretin of the internet.
a uncensored version of Sensitive Society, like more raw. I could say whatever I want to say. Of course, I'm not gonna just say slurs, but you know what I mean. I could be more myself. I could be a lot more edgier, stuff that I just can't get away with here on YouTube without getting banned or demonetized or videos taken down. Very happy to announce that I just made a Patreon. It's in the description of the video and in the pinned comment. It only has 2 tiers: the base for $5 or the
Base. Oh god. That's a Frogan reference.
As you're watching this video already came out on Patreon. More content and more authentic, if you will. So go check it out. Link in the pinned comment, link in the description. And now we can talk about Hassan Piker, and I haven't talked about him in months. So the YouTuber Tectone tweeted this. This man is gay as fuck. AKA Hassan kind of looks
Ew.
like a... And I even responded to this. I said his pronouns are fat / Oh man.
Oh my god. Based. Oh, based.
I love being on Patreon. And it turns out that the magazine GQ put out this, and I'm using...
I'm so glad I haven't eaten yet today.
this very loosely, this article, and I read it all, right? I spent like 10 minutes reading this, and it kind of comes across as a troll. I just can't shake the feeling that this was a troll. This is him being played. Just the headline: Hassan Piker thinks America might be cooked, guys. This is either one of the best trolls of all time or one of the gayest things I have ever read. This is possibly gayer than having sex with a man as a man. I just want to show you guys how bad this is. Here's how Hassan Piker starts each day: working out, shooting the shit. It's Monday at 8:30 a.m. and we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood. This is...
Yeah, Mr. Socialist with his West Hollywood home. He's a communist with a Gucci bag. He's got his Prada kicks. He's gotta have a swag.
where the 34-year-old political influencer keeps his thirsted after body fit. Okay?
Fucking ill by whom?
Why are you describing it like that? As Piker burns through his 70-minute workout, exhausting himself in the process, he strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring.
I've seen less glaze on a donut.
Looks maxers. Don't know what I'm reading. You went to journalism school for this, so you could write articles this. Oh yeah, he strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring looks maxers. Who the fuck says looks maxers? Ironically. But let's finish the sentence here. He strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring looks maxers, would kill to be where I am now, next to Piker, as he pants in a pair of neon shorts with black Calvin Klein boxers poking out and sunlight glinting off the sweat bedded on his chest hairs.
You okay, bro? You need a cold shower? Jesus Christ. Was it difficult for you to type this out with Hassan's belly in your face?
These pictures don't help at all. As a matter of fact, a good friend of the channel made a cartoon of the the cover picture. I don't know, guys. I can't.
Look at that tiny head! Oh, it's so tiny. Oh, it's so based.
Can't tell the difference between this and this. Once again, this
They're the same picture.
could be one of the greatest examples of trolling someone, or this could be one of the best examples. The dick riding is actually fucking insane, dude. And then they shared this very hot and attractive picture of Hassan. I don't know, guys.
The sight of this man makes me cringe into a way where I might just crumple myself into a fucking singularity. This man is so he is the hideous thing to ever crawl out of this godforsaken earth.
This is it's working. I am now a Salami subscriber. I'm gonna give him all of my money. Piker has no filter. That's the reason he's the hottest left-wing political commentator online. And I don't know if this is a backhanded compliment, but I was like, I think Hassan would hate to be mentioned next to.
Don't start your day with a gross piece of plastic in your hand. Adding to the 4 billion plastic toothbrushes that get thrown away each year. Here's
these people. Piker's
Nope, I carved mine down into shanks.
one of a new breed of streamers like Aiden Ross and Sneeko.
Sneeko. Oh, oh my god. Fucking Sneeko is an absolute fucking piece of garbage too, by the way. Sneeko is one of the lowest of the lows.
Are shaping the worldview of kids who never watch MSNBC or read the New York Times. I mean, once again,
I don't know much about Aiden Ross. I know he has, if I'm not mistaken, an ownership stake in Kick. I don't know how much, but I don't know much about Aiden Ross. But I know Sneeko is an absolute piece of garbage.
I think Hassan would be pissed or would absolutely hate to be mentioned right next to Aiden and Sneeko. Is this article
I would be absolutely fucking furious to be lumped in anywhere near fucking Sneeko.
satirical? Is this a backhanded compliment? Is this trolling? Is this a dick riding article? Like, which one is it? And for better or for worse, this is true. He is shaping the worldview of kids who don't watch the news. I would add Andrew Tate to the list. Unfortunately, these guys are
Oh, another fucking cringe lord. Another absolute fucking cringe example of quote unquote humanity. Andrew Tate and Hassan Piker are in a cringe race to the fucking bottom.
influencing the youth, who are obviously pretty bad and they shouldn't be taken seriously. It doesn't matter if it's from the right or from the left, it's literally the same. They're both extremists. Alex Jones is on the right and Hassan is on the left. They're both as insane. They're both as extreme. I forgot to mention this, but once again, of course, everyone knows that Mr. Hassan Piker is a socialist. So after the gym session,
Yeah, about that. You know, you're a socialist that you choose to drive a fucking luxury car. You choose to live in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the world. Like, you're a fucking streamer, dude. You can do your job from Bumblefuck, Iowa. It's just fucking reacting to shit and doing shit on stream. You can literally do that from anywhere there's a decent internet connection, which in 2025 is pretty much anywhere on fucking Earth, my guy. You don't need to live in West Hollywood Hills, but you chose to move there because you are a champagne socialist, hypocritical asshat cocksucker piece of shit.
Piker, Kaya, and I load back into his black
By the way, again, fuck Hassan Piker.
Mercedes-Benz and drive to his place, a large townhouse with a motorcycle, an anime, pool, and
He also has a Benz, a motorcycle. Socialist here.
all of that, right? Now, Hassan Piker is not beating the champagne socialist accusations, and I think we all know that's what he is. He is a performative fake socialist, but I'm not.
He's a communist with a Gucci bag. Gotta have his kicks, gotta have his swag. He's a socialist with a diamond ring.
Breaking any new ground by saying this stuff. Like, everyone knows. Everyone fucking knows. This is the second time I get flashbanged by half-naked Hassan, and it is not something that I wanted to see ever. And this is when he actually talks about Ethan.
I mean, sensitive society. It could have been worse. It could have been half naked
From H Street. Maybe his most deranged beef this year was with Ethan Klein, the popular creator and former co-host of their own joint podcast, Leftovers. The feud started over Gaza, both called it a genocide, but Klein has yada yada yada. You know, you guys know the story.
Piker is a terrorist sympathizer. He said he stands 10 toes down with organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, all of which are terrorist organizations. So he sympathizes with terrorist organizations. That therefore makes him a terrorist sympathizer. That is a correct assertion.
Some have accused Klein of having a psychosexual obsession with Piker. I mean, we all do, right? On everyone's soap button.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers, dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses.
We all do. He talks about my body and the way I look a lot, Piker says. I don't know why. Maybe it's low-hanging fruit for him. He was always a funny guy. He was never a big looker or anything. It wasn't part of his brand, so I never thought he cared that much about that sort of thing. But maybe after he lost the weight, his personality changed a bit. Last time I talked to Ethan, he was fat. I mean, let's ignore everything that has happened to Ethan over the last 3 to 4 months. We're not even gonna talk about that, but sure. Oh yeah, it's Ethan. He's obsessed with me, guys, but don't look into the reason why. It's like such a bitch ass move. As we're getting closer to the end of the article, then we get this fucking amazing post. And yes, this will become my new wallpaper. One of the main things
That may become my new dartboard wallpaper.
these people criticize Piker for, besides the whole champagne socialist thing, which is overblown. No, it's not.
No, the fuck it is not overblown. Like, he's literally living in an actual fucking mansion, driving multiple luxury cars, like, wearing designer clothes. Everything about his life is not the proletariat, it's the bourgeoisie. So he is indeed a fucking champagne socialist. Nothing about him, other than his words, speak to socialism. When it comes to him personally, everything about him is not socialist. It is hardcore capitalist and hardcore, I want to show off my money. It is hardcore upper classism. He wants to wear designer clothes and drive luxury cars. That is a symbol of the proletariat. He wants to be part of the proletariat. But he wants to champion, the bourgeoisie. Fuck, I got them confused. He wants to be part of the bourgeoisie, but he wants to try to champion the proletariat. He wants to try to live in both worlds. He wants to have the trappings of the bourgeoisie, but claim to be a champion of the proletariat. However, he is neither. He is a hypocritical asshat who should honestly be banned from all platforms considering the things he has said and done on his streams. But of course, we all know that the owners of a certain company seem to have his cock lodged deep down his throat.
No, it's not. And the ending is probably my favorite part. And Piker, sorry, I can't get through it. Piker can't get lost in thought for long, though. Our interview made him late to start his streaming. Oh no.
And of course, he can't get lost for long. Firebird only lasts for so long.
And his viewers are,
Motherfucker's a steam engine in a world of lithium-ion batteries.
antsy as fuck. Piker pops a sin. I love how they're treating this like it's like the most important shit in the world. Piker pops a sin and attempts to film an Instagram video to announce the stream. Fuck! He roars after the app shuts off midway. He shoots again. He shoots it again, then launches the stream, blitzing through the news. Sydney Sweeney, white supremacy at Texas.
Of course, he would fucking cover that double nothing burger with fries and a drink.
White women posting Nazi salute.
Yeah, because they're literally not doing their job.
Selfies on X. Soon, I get up to leave. I walk out and Piker is left alone, rambling at 3 screens. Well, I think reading this article just took like 5 years off my life. Something that I never wanted to see, something that I never wanted to read, but I always do it for you guys because you guys are based, you guys are epic. And if I do see this picture, well, so did you. So, once again,
I guess we all suffered together.
I don't know if that article was meant to be taken as a troll. I don't know what they were planning on doing with that article, but it's trash. Sometimes it feels like the writer is trolling and fucking with his son, comparing him to Sneeko and others, and sometimes it feels like...
Unfortunately, this sounds way more like a Glaze piece than like a troll, but it is hard to tell in this day and age. I, however, will always be crystal clear on my perspective on this, which is fuck Hassan Piker right up the ass with a bad dragon wrapped in barbed wire and covered in Taco Bell hell sauce.
The person is dick riding them like crazy. What is this? Even if it was about someone that I like, it was a pretty bad article. Or is this just a tier 3 simp writing an article? Which one is it? I need
tier 3 simp. Oh my fucking god.
To know. I don't know what the fuck I just read. All I know is that I saw his son semi-naked and that ruined my night. So I'm gonna go to bed now. But before you go, make sure you drop a like. If you appreciate my brave sacrifice here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out the Patreon. Link below. The version on Patreon will be a little different. Hope you enjoy the Patreon, and I'm out.
See, we ran out of time for this video.
Alright. That was a Sensitive Society video on Hassan Piker. Obviously, link will be in the description as always. Alright, the next video is our Johnny Somali video. It's pretty... fuck. Left hand. Yeah, the iPad is on my left side right now because I'm in bed. Fucking tripped and fell, and the doctor called it a crush injury. I essentially missed a step and landed on the tip of my big toe and like fractured one of the bones inside the toe. So I'm like laid up in bed with this ridiculous ass fucking splint on my fucking toe, and I can't really fucking do much. Then I found out some crazy shit happened, so I was like, let's do a react stream. But anyway, let's get to the ad. Skip.
Things.
Alright, and now. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Well, the day has come for the beginning of the trial of Johnny Somali. He has rampaged across South Korea for a year now, give or take. And his day of judgment is rapidly approaching, and I want to see exactly what happens, because seeing this guy get slow roasted by the Korean justice system is oh so satisfying. Because people like him who go to places where people are trying to live in peace and disrupt that peace for their own amusement, for their own entertainment, for their own monetary gain, are pieces of fucking shit. People who use those around them as props for their viral videos, quote unquote, are pieces of human trash. No one consented to be part of your prank, bro. Get fucked. Especially when the pranks are hurtful and insulting and degrading and deranged like Johnny Salami has been. So let's see him get the big legal dick shoved up his ass.
Things like last time things went awful for Johnny. This time it went terrible. He even got humiliated in court. I mean, it was really bad from the start. And just to start things off, I'm going to run through the whole trial so you guys kind of get a picture of how things were, even though you guys weren't there. So there was a few people there. There wasn't that many people this time. But Johnny at 3:59, Johnny's lawyer came in. So right on time for the trial and so on. Then at 4, a woman walked in who apparently was a witness. We didn't know of her. We hadn't seen her. We were assuming that Bong Bong was going to testify today, but apparently not. Then at 4:03.
I mean, if they had to bring in everyone who he fucking offended to testify, they would need to have the trial in a fucking stadium.
Hank walked in.
Hank. The bag of expired milk that acts as Johnny's bodyguard.
And that also confirmed that Hank is still associated with Johnny. Then, at 4:05, so this is 5 minutes after his trial started, Johnny was still not there. So Hank, he starts panicking and talking to the lawyer, and they don't know where Johnny is. So then Hank has to run out of the courtroom and I guess call Johnny and figure out where this guy is. So moving on with my notes here, let's see, 1 second. And we have at 4:07, Johnny then walks in, this time respectfully, in a fitting suit.
And not in his black KKK robe like he wanted to. You know, the fact that people like him can just wander around and fucking continue to be a fucking nuisance, a literal nuisance to regular, normal people. We need to bring back asylums. We really fucking do.
It seems like Johnny realized how bad things were and finally took the cue and he was like, okay, I'm gonna lock in because clearly things are not going well for him. So then everyone sits down, or everyone stands up, judge walks in, everyone sits down, okay, court starts. So then at 4:12, Johnny then confirms that he is still a quote unquote student and that he still actually lives at Hank's house. So that's interesting because Hank is going on to say, oh, Johnny does not live with me, I do not help Johnny anymore, I'm not associated with him anymore. Apparently that's not true. So then we have the 8 charges that he's currently facing.
Right. 8 charges? 8 charges? And there's more. I'm pretty sure there's a couple, like 1 or 2 more coming.
I have Gabe with me here who's been helping me translate and also find all the location and everything, you know, and so on. So shout out to this man for being here. But essentially, so there's the first charges they talked about were it was the business obstruction charges, and they were related to the buses.
Yes,
correct?
This is the new charge.
Oh yeah, fucking with people using public transport. You know, while I do have a car now, for most of my more than 3.5 decades of life, neither I nor my parents, and well, I mean that my dad had a car for a little while, but I don't remember what happened to it, and I didn't even have my dad past 6, so yeah, most of my life, neither I nor my parents had a car, so I took public transit, and sometimes it fucking sucks. Actually, most of the time it fucking sucks.
They announced today. So this is the one that we didn't know for sure, but I predicted was going to be the bus incident on the 27th.
So that was was it 7011 bus or was it 7013A?
It was 7011 and 7013A.
Okay, and then you had another bus 20. Oh, so it was the 2024 incident. That's why it was bus 2024. Okay,
Yes,
so that's
yes.
Okay.
This
right.
had happened in 2024.
Okay.
So that's why, that's also why they're adding it to this case, among many reasons, is because it was all around the same time. So they consider this a crime spree.
Okay.
A crime spree.
And so
he's so cooked.
First two disturbances. So the first bus that was for playing NK propaganda on.
Playing North Korean propaganda in South Korea. That is so vile. And you know, to just come to their country and fuck with them like that, and then to play, you know, literally the propaganda of the country right next door that wants to destroy them is absolutely fucking vile and detestable.
Bus. And then the second one was for just text-to-speech donations and just, you know, disturbing the peace on the bus. So
noises and
loud
refusing
noises.
to turn it down.
Yes.
Causing a disturbance, and also the live streaming. That in itself they consider to be a disturbance. That, you know, making other people feel uncomfortable if you have your camera. Like right now we're here. We're not.
I mean, yeah. I'm not an IRL streamer. I'm not even a streamer who uses a camera. I use screen capture and a voice capture program to capture my model and make it talk. I don't use cameras for my shit. But, you know, if you go out and you live stream, you know, people might not be comfortable being broadcast to the world. Now, in public, you don't necessarily have an expectation of privacy. But on the bus where you paid to be, that might be a different story. Because, see, the bus is private property. At least here it is. I don't know about. I think there it is too because it's obstruction of business. So I think the public transportation out there is a private entity that probably gets subsidized. Like here, it's a private entity that gets subsidized partially by the government, but it is like its own entity. So it is part of public space, but it also kind of isn't. Like for example, you cannot bring weapons onto the subway, but I mean obviously like you can't ban weapons from public per se because that goes against the Second Amendment. But because the subway is private property, you can indeed ban weapons. So, as a result of that, he is probably facing some sort of the live streaming could be a sort of like a breach of privacy because I know in Korea and other countries there are more strict privacy laws when it comes to taking photographs of people and especially, like live streaming their face. So the fact that he was doing that on a bus could very well also be another fucking nail in his coffin. Let's see.
Putting people in the frame, right? Mm-hmm. If you're on a bus, you're live streaming other people as well.
Yeah.
So that's considered a disturbance as well.
So then at 4:15.
I mean, yeah, back when I took public transport, if I was just sitting on the bus coming home from a long day of school or work, the last thing I'd want to do is wind up being a fucking background prop for some fucking hyperactive jerk off.
you had that moment where they went, oh, if you change the time, we plead guilty here. And that didn't fully make sense to me. So, like, what was that about? Because that was what Johnny's team said.
It's very common for an accusation to have like some small mistake, like it could be a date or a time or a location. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
If you say, no, it wasn't this day, it was that day, it's
Still committing a crime. Oh, no, I didn't rob the bank on Monday. I robbed the bank on Wednesday.
still a crime. It doesn't matter. But Johnny nitpicks about stuff like this, and the lawyer brought that up as an argument. And so the compromise was, do you admit to everything except the date that this happened? Yes, he admits to everything.
Oh, he's cooked. Oh, he's fucking cooked.
Except for the date? Okay, that's a guilty plea.
Okay, so yeah, then he pled guilty for all the obstruction charges. So all 4 obstruction of business charges.
Ready for motorcycle fun at half the price? Meet GT73 electric motorbike.
He pled guilty for.
Right.
Then
I don't think. Well, not that I don't think motorcycles should be electric, but one of the benefits of a motorcycle is you at least have a loud exhaust to make up for your reduced footprint of visibility, I guess. A smaller object is harder to see. That's one of the reasons, at least in my state, if you ride a motorcycle, at all times your headlight and taillight must be on because it helps you be seen more. It's not about you seeing, it's about other people seeing you. And because you're such a small thing on the road, the headlight and taillight, for one, know, oh yeah, you're not parked, you are going. And 2, oh yeah, that's a motorcycle. I should watch out and not run into it. I was at one time going to get my motorcycle license. I will eventually one day, but I've got bigger fish to fry.
So because of that plea, then the witness got up and left because they no longer needed her to testify against him because we're assuming that the witness.
She was fired from the bus incident then. And once he pled guilty, alright, he pled guilty. You don't need to testify. He said he did it.
This was one of the workers at Lotte World who witnessed him, disrupt and stop the ride and do all the stuff he did there.
Oh yeah, he also fucking went and acted an absolute jackass of himself in what is essentially the South Korean version of like Disneyland, which is essentially an amusement park geared toward little kids. And he did and essentially blasted TTS of some very unsavory things. I hope they throw the book at him and then bury him beneath the library. This fucker needs to get slow roasted.
Yeah, when she turned around, I recognized her from the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
100%. I recognized her from the video.
Okay, so then you had the whole deepfake charges. So the lawyer then said that Johnny was intoxicated. So they used him being intoxicated as an excuse for why.
That's not an excuse. Oh my god, he's actually fucking retarded.
He distributed those.
Their number one argument is that, and this was his lawyer finally making an argument, which they've been asking him to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what you're supposed to do in court.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, oh, I gave you the evidence, or oh, I'll tell you later. But finally they got him to make an argument, and his number one argument was he did not produce the deepfakes, even though I think he probably did. Mm-hmm. Right? He did not produce the deepfakes.
But he shared them around. That's alone enough of an offense.
All he did was to distribute them. So you admit to distributing them.
That alone is the offense, dickhead.
Right. Okay. So that's essentially what happened. Yeah.
But he is insisting on a not guilty plea. So it looks like his lawyer.
He's actually retarded. He's actually fucking retarded. Like IQ level below the level of retardation. Like actually fucking retarded.
Somebody was able to convince him that the Lotte World charge was a lost cause.
Mm-hmm.
And
Johnny Somali is a lost cause. Like as a human being, he's not worth the effort to rehabilitate.
So that's what Johnny gave.
Interesting.
Guilty plea, changing the plea from not guilty to guilty for Lotte World.
Yeah.
But insisting on not guilty for the deepfakes.
Okay. And then that's when a new dialogue started, because that's when the prosecution wanted to bring in witnesses for the deepfakes, and Johnny's lawyer did not want witnesses involved at all.
Right.
So then, what happened after they didn't want witnesses? What did the judge say, and how was the reaction of the court then?
This was interesting. He, since he got overruled when he tried to block the witnesses.
Yeah.
They do not want Bong Bong to testify. They don't want They don't want either of them to testify. That's
Okay.
clear. We know.
Yeah.
We've known that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, he was actively in court trying to block them, and he was overruled on that.
Okay.
So.
Wah, wah.
But since they're having the witnesses, the lawyer requested more time than usual.
Okay.
To examine them.
So
why?
What's a normal time to examine someone, you think?
It depends on the case, and then all that, they'll set it, and for this they set 15 minutes for the defense for the lawyer to interview the witnesses. They set 15 minutes, and since he couldn't block it, he wanted more time with the witnesses, which means if they can't block the witnesses, they really want to grill them. So he might be planning on going all in on Bong Bong.
Oh, wow. Okay, so is it Johnny's lawyer that's grilling Bong Bong, or the prosecution that's grilling Bong Bong?
It'll be first the prosecution for 15 minutes, and then next is Johnny's lawyer for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then the judge might ask some questions as well.
And then you have another witnesses.
I didn't know the judge asked questions in the trial. That's interesting.
So it'll be ×2, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Interesting.
then another ×2 because they're going to do a translation for everything.
Oh,
so
wow.
that making it twice as long. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they got to translate from Korean to English and English to Korean for everything.
Okay. And that's happening in October. And then other than that,
I really hope that they add all this to the bill that they're gonna charge him for when they send him to the cabbage farms. I cannot wait to see him on the cabbage farm.
Then you had what were the minor crimes charges? Were they ever brought up during this case or trial?
That is settled that the plea is guilty.
Okay.
So, minor crimes, and now we can say obstruction of business. The plea is guilty for 6 charges.
Okay. Interesting. And so overall, how was Johnny's lawyer?
Flustered, definitely out of his depth.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I know he was pressured by Hank's family to be a part of this case, and I think he's trying to do his best to balance between Johnny and normalcy.
Yeah.
Sane, actual normal procedure.
Yeah. And how is the prosecution handling this case, you feel like?
I mean, obviously very professional.
Okay.
Right.
So would you
Meanwhile, Johnny's team is handling it like a literal fucking pack of rodeo clowns.
consider them to be pretty aggressive on this case, or how would you rate it?
I hope they're being super aggressive. I hope they go for fucking maximum fucking turbo velocity on his asshole.
Yes, I would say today they were aggressive on it. The paradox is how can you simultaneously admit to having distributed, which is the crime that it's accused of, and insist on this not guilty plea.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Because he's a fucking moron. That's how. He's an actual moron.
It's thinking. The more I think about it, the crazier it is. But that's what we just witnessed.
Wow.
Is this lawyer using Johnny's argument?
Yeah.
Saying basically, I didn't make it, so I'm not guilty. Even though, again, I think he did.
And also, the whole charge is for the distribution. So they're like, oh, we didn't make it. I did distribute it, though. But I was drunk. That's essentially what we're seeing unfold.
Yes, that's the mental gymnastics that we saw happen today. Lawyer was very flustered, turning red, stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has a natural stutter like Hank, but he does have a strange way of talking.
Yeah.
But he definitely seemed very uncomfortable.
Interesting. Did the judge give any reaction to this, or was he confused, or how was the judge reacting to this?
The judge, as usual, is very, sort of above everything, above the fray, and was very calm and very patient with the process. But he's also the one who said, no, you cannot block these witnesses, and no, you cannot extend your, interview time with them.
Right.
Cross-examination.
Wow. Do you have any other overall thoughts on this trial?
That was crazy. That was just insane.
And
there's all this stuff. There's so much stuff that's just unprecedented. It's stuff you just don't do.
Okay, yeah. So this is just an absolutely not a normal
this
trial.
This is like it's almost like Monty Python.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
so it is just a full-on clown fest.
It's a clown fest.
Okay.
It is absolutely a clown fest.
If you were going to give a prediction of like how the prosecution was and like in previous cases you've seen in Korea, what do you think the most likely sentence that he will get from all this is?
At this point, I think the prosecutor is going to say something like 4 or 5 years, maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Because of Johnny's insistence.
Yeah.
And because of his insincerity with his guilty pleas.
Yeah. And now, I mean, fine.
I hope they do, because Johnny's trying to play them for fucking fools. And I hope they're just like quietly sitting back, watching him rack up fuck ups, knowing that when the time comes to bring the hammer down, they're going to have a giant fucking mega hammer to fucking squish his little ass with.
Finally, he's locked in, but it also seems like it's kind of too late to start acting like he's actually sorry. Because he didn't actually act like he was sorry today. He was just being respectful. He was being a normal person today, from what I saw. And that's
That's not good enough anymore, Johnny Salami. That is no longer good enough. You've done fucked up and caused too much damage to just go back to being a normal person.
That's really it. Yeah, the bar is really set low. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all for now. I'll be making a full video soon. What would you say?
Hank was fine. Johnny's behavior was fine.
Yeah.
Lawyer, just feel bad for that guy.
I mean, I kind of do too, but he's being paid probably.
Well, that's it. Thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys when I make a full long-form video on this. I'll see you next one. Peace, guys.
I paid for my own college, so I knew I'd have to start accumulating a lot of money, paying student loans, paying rent. There wasn't much left over. Every month I put whatever I could have into wealth.
Okay. This is Why Were Titanic's Watertight Compartments Open at the Top by Historic Travels. Another Titanic / ocean liner / maritime history / that kind of realm of YouTuber. Well, take two for the stuff. Hold on, let me hydrate. Need my hydrate. All right. So, 3, 2, 1, go. So, why were Titanic's watertight compartments open at the top? This is a video by Historic Travels, another Titanic / ocean liner / maritime YouTuber that I follow, and he's going to tell us why Titanic's watertight compartments were indeed open at the top, causing what I like to call the ice tray effect, where the watertight compartments flooded over and over at a certain deck, dragging the ship down like an ice tray once you slowly push it into the water.
For today's video, we're going to be discussing a question that I am frequently asked about the sinking of the RMS Titanic. How were the Titanic's watertight compartments watertight if they were open at the top? Wouldn't this allow the water that breached the Titanic's hull to be able to spill over the top of the bulkhead and flood the next compartment? Well, yes, you are 100% correct. This could indeed happen, and this is exactly what happened on the night that the Titanic went down. Water flooded up inside of one watertight compartment, spilled over the top of the bulkhead, and flooded the next compartment. However, this was not a design flaw with the Titanic's watertight compartments. They were built this way on purpose, and under the right circumstances, they were indeed watertight, and they would have prevented the Titanic from sinking.
What were those circumstances?
How, you may ask? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. I hope you enjoy.
If I had to guess, I would say it was that because it was designed to stay afloat with, I think it was 4 compartments flooded, but not 5. But 5 compartments had already began to flood. And I think that was just too much weight, and it began dragging the ship down and just flooding shit. But we'll see.
Special thanks to Titanic Honor and Glory for providing the sinking animation you're going to see in today's video. Please check out their work in the description below. Okay.
Also, let's have a moment of silence for all of those lost during that horrible event. Truly tragic.
Okay, so to properly answer this question, the first thing we need to discuss is what exactly a watertight compartment is and how it works. Well, a watertight compartment, as the name implies, is a compartment within a ship that's purpose is to prevent water that has found its way into that compartment from breaching another compartment, okay? Now, in the case of Titanic, the ship had 15 individual watertight bulkheads going from the very front of the ship to the very back of the ship, seen here represented in red.
Hold on 1 second. Life doesn't stop.
These 15 watertight bulkheads made 16 individual watertight compartments. Now, in order to allow Titanic's passengers and crew to move from one watertight compartment into another one, the watertight bulkheads had openings in them, and at each of these openings you would find a watertight door. A watertight door, as the name implies, is a door that can be sealed shut in an emergency to prevent water from flowing from one watertight compartment into another watertight compartment, thus making the watertight compartment watertight. Now, there were 2 different types of watertight doors located on the Titanic's watertight bulkheads, and in order to make that watertight bulkhead watertight, both of these doors would have to be closed. There were watertight doors that were closed vertically and ones that were closed horizontally. Now, the vertical closing watertight doors, these were located at the very bottom of the Titanic, in between the ship's boiler rooms, cargo hold, and engine rooms and such. These are the doors that would needed to be closed the quickest in the event of an emergency. And because of this, there were 3 different ways to close these doors. The first way was manually by hand. Any crew member working down there, if they saw flooding, they could close the doors on their own. The second way was electrically. Any crew member on the Titanic's bridge could simply throw a switch and close the doors should the need arise. And the third and probably most ingenious way to close.
I'm almost certain that there was a float that would, if the water lifted the float up a certain amount, it would hit a switch that would automatically close the door, if I'm not mistaken.
These doors was, you see, the builders at Harland and Wolff, they imagined a...
Those fuckers were geniuses, by the way. I mean, for all the flaws it had, it was a wondrous marvel of engineering.
Scenario where the Titanic could be breached and no one on board the ship somehow knew about it. Well, in the event of this, if water was coming into the compartment and no one triggered the watertight door to close, well, they attached this device called a float plate to each of the vertical closing watertight doors. And when this float plate was lifted up by...
Told you. Among the many things I'm a nerd for, the ocean, ships, specifically the Titanic, are things I'm very nerdy for, and I love. Hold on. And I love the different things. I love all the different designs of ships, all the different types of ships. I love ships. If I ever made it rich, I would love to own a ship, just to go out on the sea and just be with the ocean. I love the ocean. I mean, look at my fucking design.
The water coming in, it would trigger a mechanism and close the vertical closing watertight door automatically. Very cool and very ingenious safety feature on the Titanic.
You can choose to raid the caravan, or you can choose to guard it. This is a game where
However, the horizontally closing doors, there was only one way to shut these watertight doors, manually by hand. But honestly, even though I'm sure this may seem a bit more primitive to you than the vertical closing doors, I think this system was okay for the Titanic simply because these horizontally closing doors, they were located up on the higher decks, so they wouldn't flood as quickly as the space down where the vertical closing doors would. So in the event of an emergency, the crew would have time to get to them and close them should the need arise. So as you can see, the Titanic really did have a lot of good safety systems in place to quickly seal up a watertight compartment should they need to. However, I'm sure all of you are still wondering about the giant opening at the top. Well, don't worry, we'll explain that now. You see, due to the laws of physics, water will not flow inside of a vessel higher up than what the water line is on the outside of a ship. So, taking this into account when they were building the watertight bulkheads, the Titanic's builder specifically designed them so that the top of the watertight bulkhead would be above the water line on the outside of the Titanic. More specifically, the watertight bulkhead.
But she was flooded one compartment too many and dragged just a little too low, and that caused a chain reaction.
Had stopped around the Titanic's E-deck level. Now, let's say, just for the sake of argument, the Titanic was in a collision and one of the watertight compartments was breached. Okay? The Titanic's crew quickly seal up that watertight bulkhead, thus making that watertight compartment watertight. The Titanic would sink down a little bit, but because the top of the watertight bulkhead never went below the water line on the outside of the ship, the water cannot reach the top of the bulkhead and spill over into the next compartment. So this watertight compartment is in fact watertight. Now, obviously, if you have a situation where multiple watertight compartments are breached, this would cause the Titanic to sink down even lower into the water. And if you do have a situation where enough are breached that the ship is able to sink down low enough in the water,
you'll get the ice tray effect.
Where the top of the watertight bulkhead is below the water line on the outside of the ship, then yes, the water will be able to reach the top of the watertight compartment and spill over into the next compartment. This is exactly what happened to the Titanic on the night that it sank. However, before we discuss that, let's first go over exactly how many watertight compartments on the Titanic could be breached without the water being...
I believe it was 4 that could be breached and keep the ship afloat, but she had 5 breached, if I'm not mistaken. And if she had had 4 or less, she wouldn't have foundered.
Able to spill over the top of the watertight bulkheads. Now, officially, the Titanic could handle any 2 adjacent compartments breached anywhere along the Titanic's hull, completely flooded, and the ship would not be at risk of foundering. She could also handle her first 3 watertight compartments breached, totally fine, or she could even handle her aft first 3 compartments breached, and she would still survive. Plus, as an added bonus, the Titanic could also handle her first 4 compartments completely flooded, and even under this scenario, the Titanic would not sink down low enough in the water.
But not 5. Not 5.
For the water to be able to spill over the top of the watertight bulkheads. The remaining buoyancy within the ship would counteract the dead weight that was, from those damaged compartments, and the Titanic would survive. So, as you can see, the Titanic really could handle a lot of different flooding scenarios and still survive. However, what she could not handle is what happened to her on the night that she hit the iceberg. So, when Titanic struck the iceberg at 11:40 p.m. on April 14, 1912, the iceberg opened up the Titanic's hull in a bunch of small spaces in an area spanning from the very front of the ship to all the way of just aft of the first funnel. This translates to 6.
Oh, fuck, 6. She was double fucked.
Watertight compartments breached from the iceberg collision. That is a colossal amount of damage, and way more than what the Titanic could handle. With this amount of damage, the Titanic would sink down so low in the water that the water would have no trouble spilling over the tops of the bulkheads and then traveling further back and back and back into the rest of the Titanic until the Titanic would eventually founder 2 hours and 40 minutes after the collision. So, it doesn't matter how safe you try to make something like a ship. No matter what you do, there is always a breaking point. And even with all of the safety features the builders who built Titanic tried to implement into the vessel, and they did implement...
I'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
A lot of them, you know. The first 4 compartments breached at the front of the ship was the worst case scenario they could imagine at the time.
But they had 2 more. I thought it was 1 more. But 2 more is even more catastrophic. There was no way she was fucking making it out of that shit alive. She was going down for sure, damn. I mean, it's not even like the designer's fault or anything. It's just you can't build a ship to a 6 out of 10 is a big fucking percentage. That's not half, but getting dangerously close to half the ship full of water, and ships aren't supposed to be full of water.
There is still a scenario where all your safety features can fail. And the Titanic unfortunately encountered that on the night she hit the iceberg. With 6 compartments breached, the Titanic was doomed no matter what you did.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, so now that you guys have a pretty good understanding of how the watertight compartments worked on Titanic and ultimately why they failed on the night of the sinking, let's now do a bit of a discussion, shall we? Let's discuss, would it have been better to have the watertight compartments completely sealed up at the top on the night of the sinking? Would this have helped save the Titanic? Well, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure, and here's why. The first thing that
with all that water and added weight in the front, it's going to drag the front of the ship down. And if there is any point of egress into the ship from the outside, like a porthole or something that is dragged beneath the water, there's a possibility that water can then begin to enter the ship, further dragging it down, further causing it to founder.
I would think that would go wrong in a situation like this is, wouldn't all of the crew in those watertight compartments simply be trapped in there once all the watertight doors were shut? You know, wouldn't they wouldn't have any way to get out if they couldn't go up and over, you know, like what a lot of them did on the night that the Titanic sank. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking, well, couldn't they just add more watertight doors and, you know, keep these doors open until all of the crew got out? Well, I guess. I mean, I still can't imagine a scenario where all of the crew would get out in that situation. I'm sure some of them would get trapped down there. But another issue would be, what if some of the crew forgot to close all these watertight doors? I mean, don't forget, you know, I mean, we're talking about a huge chunk of space. If you want these compartments completely sealed up at the top, you know, going from one side of the ship to the other, there could be watertight doors all over the place to allow the crew to be able to get out of there if they had to. And I could easily see a scenario where one of these watertight doors could be left open, especially if they were manually closing doors, which honestly they probably would be. Don't forget, only the vertical closing doors at the bottom of Titanic could be closed electrically. The rest would have to be closed manually. And if a door was left open, then this completely, you know, kills the point of having a watertight bulkhead or watertight compartment completely sealed up at the top. Water would get out, and that would be that. And then we also have to think about the added strain on the Titanic's hull in the event that you've got 6 completely sealed up watertight compartments and if they were completely flooded. I'm not sure if that much loss of buoyancy would cause the Titanic's bow to dip beneath the surface, but it probably would, or come close to it anyway. And don't forget, the watertight compartments on Titanic only went up to the E-deck level. If the Titanic's bow was dragged down so low with the first 6 compartments breached, then the water would be able to spill into D-deck and then completely bypass the watertight compartments. Yeah, so where the watertight compartments only went up to E-deck, the rest of the Titanic's upper decks, they were not protected by watertight bulkheads at all. So if the water could get up there, then it could bypass those watertight compartments and just, yeah, you get my point.